Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to Pete's Gears. In this video, I'll review and install all the parts and hardware needed to overhaul the heater outlet pipes and flaps under the back seat, along with the lever and cables. Check it out. On my 65 project, I found these plastic covers under the back seat. These cover up the heater outlet that comes off the heater channel and goes to the footwell under the back seat. And these plastic covers are on the left and the right. There's two sizes and they sort of fit together. And inside of them was this plastic material which has like an aluminum or metallic coating on it. It's like a foil coating, and this, I assume, was meant to reflect heat back into the pipes and prevent the heat from escaping. On later cars, they have like some more conventional insulation, something you might see in your attic or your wall, and wrapped around the heater pipes. But on my 65 and other cars from the 60s, on my 64 project, I found these. I don't know what years they cover, but I'm not going to reuse this material because it's all worn out. The metal is flaking off. So what I did was I went on Amazon and I bought these emergency blankets, and I used the original material to cut out a pattern, and I've sort of done my best to recreate what was there before. So I'm going to put this inside the plastic tube, and that gets wrapped around the pipe, and hopefully this should do something to reflect heat back into the metal pipe in the back seat, and I'm going to show you how that's done. Okay, here we are inside the car looking into the area under the passenger side back seat, and I already have those two plastic heater tube pipes installed on the passenger side. You can see in the background there's one with some blue tape on it. That's the longer piece. This is the shorter piece right here. The longer piece actually wraps around. That's the other end of it. It just has a little bit of primer overspray on it, and you can see the foil peeking out from behind it that I wrapped around the pipe. So basically how this works is this contour metal right here, that's the end of the pipe that comes out from the bottom of the car from the motor. The heat comes through there, it splits off. One can divert under the back seat, and the other one comes out right there, where that shiny paint is, runs through the heater channel, and it comes up both sides of the car. And then you've got heat coming out by your feet on the driver and the passenger side, and then heat is also diverted up this metal pipe. There's some splitters behind the dash. There's the vent control, and then you also get air coming through here on the dash, and the same on the passenger side. Okay, I'm gonna start with the shorter pipe first, and I don't know how they got it on originally, but I found it's helpful to put some tape on here. So I slid the foil inside here and looped it around as best I could, and so this tape will hold it in place while I snap it over this pipe. So basically this is flexible, there's an opening in it, and it just snaps into place. That's it. Take this tape off, just tuck that under. So for the longer plastic cover, this is more difficult to get on. You have to reach inside quarter panel and up and under. This end clips around here, and the rest of it goes underneath. I've got my right hand inserted into the quarter panel behind that box so I can reach underneath to snap the plastic into place around the pipe. The hard part is not wrinkling or tearing the foil material. Okay, that is on. And now onto the parts for the heater outlet. We have this heater flap connected to this wire, which connects to this wire connector. And the wire runs through this tube, which is welded to the kick panel under the back seat. And this wire runs through the tunnel, and it connects to the lever next to your handbrake. You yank on this lever, it pulls the wire. The wire pulls this end, which pulls on this wire, and that opens the heater flap under the back seat. So this heater flap right here is original to my karmannghia. This metal wire here You can buy new ones if yours are missing. I purchased these and I actually will not be using them because it turns out I don't need them. But if you do purchase these for your project, you should know that you have to cut this end down. So you leave this part on obviously, but from here to here is exactly 2 inches. And that's the length you need. And then you also need this wire screw connector, and there's like tiny little screws in there, and that attaches both ends together. And I also purchased this brand new heater flap, which I think I will be using because it's a slight upgrade. It has like this rubber along the sides that's gonna like seal air out better. So I think I'm gonna use this even though it's not an original part, and I also purchased this on CIP1. Okay, looking into the back seat area, there's the tube that I just showed you welded to the kick panel, and the wire from the lever comes out right there into that notch in the carpet padding, and it goes up to, there's a red lever, but the other lever hasn't been installed yet. That is on the driver's side of the car. And there's also the matching tube under the back seat on the left side. Okay, so here we are underneath the back seat. This is the kick panel. Under the passenger side area, here's the heater pipe outlet. Inside there's a little vertical tube, and that's where this will clip on. And there's a little hole on the side, which you may not be able to see, and that's where this wire is going to feed through underneath the back seat. So what we'll do is put the wire in first, and then clip this on, like so. And so when I tug on the wire from the opposite side, closed, opened. Okay, this is the control wire for the heater flaps under the back seats. Actually 2 wires in one that are joined on the opposite end. And over here, you'll see that one is longer than the other. And basically the way this works is that they go into the tunnel here next to the handbrake. In the center of the frame, you see there's 2 tubes there in the middle. The lower tube feeds over to the passenger side, and that's where I'm going to feed the longer wire, and they basically just go through the tunnel and under the back seat, and then I'm going to guide them into these tubes attached to the kick panel. Okay, so right now what I'm doing is I'm feeding the longer wire to the lower tube, get the shorter wire into the upper tube, and I've also got some grease here that should keep these wires lubricated in the tube. Okay, just feeding these in. I'm careful not to whack my dashboard or the steering wheel. Okay, so this wire is coming out. This has to feed in through here. Same on the passenger side. Then, okay, now the wire is emerged on the other side. So basically I just have to unscrew this and tighten this cable up to this connector. Okay, got the wire fed in there. There's a little hook on the end of that wire, and these screws should hold that in place. Alright, so that's tight in there. We will have to test it once I hook the lever up. Okay, first thing we do is put this plastic washer on. And then our lever goes over the end of the cable. Push the cable inside a little bit. And this obviously threads onto this captive stud. Okay, there we go. That's on. Next washer, and this metal stop plate prevents it from going up too high, and then followed by this nut. Put it on there and tighten this up. There we go. Once you have your lever installed along with the wire through the tunnel, final step is to adjust the tension in the cable. If you don't, the flaps won't open and shut all the way. So what you have to do is lift the lever up and then grab a hold of the wire there right in the middle of the frame, grab that with some pliers and pull it away from the tunnel. And on this side, you're gonna open the flap and then join them together right here. So what that does is it takes the slack out of this wire, because if you don't, the doors won't open and shut properly and you're just gonna be really frustrated. So right now, this is the closed position. And if I look into the heater outlet, I can see that that's closed. Pull this up, pull the lever up, it's open, shut. So that's working properly, and that's how you adjust the cable. If you're missing your hardware for your levers, you can find that at Wolfsburg West. It's the same stuff they sell for a Volkswagen Beetle. Just look up parts for a 65 and up Beetle, and you can find this metal bracket and the washers that go under the lever. If you're missing your levers, you can probably find those at a swap meet or on the internet. The other thing, you're gonna have to make sure that you have these kick plates on your car. If they're missing, you can find them at a junkyard or find one on someone who's parting out in karmannghia. If yours are half missing, I bet you can fabricate something, usually rotted from here down. You don't necessarily need to weld this on. You can use sheet metal screws or pop rivets because it's not a structural part. But you absolutely need to have these tubes on the back of the kick plates, because that's the conduit for the wire. On a Beetle, those tubes are attached to the floor pans, but on a karmannghia, it's attached to the back of this plate. Although this car will probably never see snow or ice or cold weather, I feel it's important to get these heater flaps working. It'll preserve the car's authenticity as it came from the factory, and in the unlikely event I ever decide to sell the car, or if I drop dead, it'll increase the value when my family sells it. Become a subscriber so you don't miss out on a single video from Pete's Gias, your #1 source for karmanghia DIY and restoration on YouTube, according to me.